We'd like to welcome to the stage our first guest tonight from Resources for Human Development and Equal Dollars, Bob Fishman and Deneen Brockington. So, thank you both for coming out tonight. This is actually the official release date for the magazine. We've had it online, but maybe not everybody here knows what an equal dollar is. Can you illuminate and explain?
Okay, well, very simply, equal dollars is money that we print up and we give it value from community, based on community's efforts and labor and underused and undervalued assets.
There's a good prop right there. There's the prop. An actual equal dollar.
Yes.
That's great. So yeah, and when we talked before about this, what I really found really compelling about your program, people could look at something like alternative currency as something radical, something that is out there. It's like this conspiracy to overthrow the capitalist system and create a barter society. It is. You heard it here first. It is. It is. But the thing was that it's
a conspiracy in a very appropriate place. There was a person that many people know the name of, who 2,000 years ago talked about people being equal and being equal unto God. And then unfortunately, the Federal Reserve decided to change that 100 years ago and started to issue currency so that people were no longer equal.
Now, with the currency that we have the economic system that we've developed, now how does this fall into place? So, like I said, it's not taking us down to a bartering system, getting rid of that. It's an alternative. It's something to complement the system that we have now to make more equality. And how is Equal Dollars doing it?
Well, simply put, the U.S. dollar economy is designed to make profit. So in essence, if someone can't make a profit off my labor, a business, they don't hire me. If they can't make a profit off the land, it doesn't get used. They can't make a profit off the food, it goes into the waste stream. And so we believe that just because something, you can't make a profit off of it, doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. I have time, I can volunteer, I can revitalize a vacant lot, I can help feed the elderly, I can mentor young people. And we give that kind of labor value in our equal dollar system, in which people then can use these dollars to put food on their table, they can get prescription medication, I got tutoring services for my son, and so on and so on and so on, whatever the people within the community make available.
I think the really brilliant thing that you did, the innovation, which I would guess has allowed it to get so much momentum, is being able to use it for food.
Yes, that was the slam dunk for us.
Food that otherwise would not exist because, as Deneen says, in the economy we run, because you can't make a profit off it, more than 50% of the food that is grown never gets to consumers. Think of that. We have hunger, but this is what the U.S. dollar has produced. Yeah, it is in the U.S. dollar system that you can't use it. In the equal dollar system, we can have it donated to us through the nonprofit, and we can redistribute it and give a value to our members that is 10 times $1.
Wait, I just want to say, because you're like, well, if it's donated to you, why then don't you give it away for free? And so we also believe that when you keep giving away something for free to someone, we are creating a system in which the people who have less feel like they don't have any value. And this is a tool in which you get to determine your own value.
It's also important that this tool is understood that when you become a member of Equal Dollars and you join us in this radical system, you can't get earned interest on it. And that's the opposite of what Deneen just said. Because in the US dollar system, if you can't make a profit or earn interest, you go bankrupt. In our system, If you take it and you lend it at interest, we kick you out of the membership. So no banker would do that, right? Bankers give you money to lend or make money from other people or not employ them if you can. We distribute money so that you can engage with other people. It's the opposite, intentional. That's why it's
Well,
right.
I like that you brought up the valuation, because that's been a huge issue in food for so long, the undervaluation of food. It's been almost a race to the bottom on how the cheapest commodities that you can get. But in your system, just to give people better examples, so tonight I think I overheard that at the door they could accept equal dollars exchange. So say I went to a vacant lot and I helped out a community group that was building an urban garden. They gave me for my time some equal dollars. How do I spend it? How do I get back into the community?
Well, particularly at that particular urban farm, the food that's grown there is made available for 100% equal. So you could share the harvest, right, by using your equals to get food. We run 3 food markets right now, one in Germantown on Wasaga Avenue, one in Strawberry Mansion, and another one in Feltonville. And in that system, we get food donated in from a large food distributor. And you'd be amazed at how good this food is. And so you can get like 4 red bell peppers that'll run you $1, $2 a pound in the supermarket for $1 US and $1 equal dollar.
You know, we did a composting issue maybe about a year or so ago, and obviously we're big proponents of it, but when we saw some of the pictures of these trucks just dumping what looks like beautiful produce, it's shocking.
It's going on all over the world, but particularly we're focusing on it in the United States. It's happening every day. People are starving, not having adequate food, while we have not developed a system to redistribute that food. This is a redistribution system. We're modeling what can be done if governments would look at this in a different way. And people are doing this. By the way, all the people who come in and help us to redistribute are also taking an abundance of food home, including me, and giving it to other people. So we're not only redistributing to each other, we're feeding others free, because there's an abundance of food that otherwise is going to be buried.
What we like to do with this show, we like to give an inside looking into the workings of the magazine. I will have to say that as we walked out of Resources for Human Development, Alex, I had to listen to him wrestle with, he didn't know what he was more excited about, compost or this program that you guys have. He kind of argued with himself for about 15 minutes.
It's true. I mean, I just think that alternative currencies, there's so much potential, and you guys are making it happen. And you talk about wasted food, but there's also a lot of wasted humanity. There are people who are undervalued, and putting this in their hands and putting a value on their time, that's a massive component to what you're doing.
It is. It is.
So equal dollars is part of RHD. And I was unaware of RHD, and it's massive, 240 million. You've been doing this for just short of 43 years. And the way you've been doing it is very, very different. And I just started reading your book. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm fascinated. And it's really, the name of the book is The Experiment Worked, right? Mm-hmm. So it's, the way it's being run is very egalitarian, transparent, everything's really out in the open, how much people make, the office space, Bob doesn't have a special office, he's out with everybody else. It's a really inspiring thing, and there were 2 things that you mentioned in your book. One was that you grew up in a house where there was a lot of fighting, and also when you were looking around in Brooklyn, where you grew up, you saw a lot of inequities. And I think that you've really kind of married those 2 observations into a business that really revolves around peacemaking. Do you think that's fair to say?
Peacemaking and relative to what we're doing with the money, community building. We can't avoid the human conflict. It needs to be managed as well as we can as human beings. But there are structural issues in relationships and in corporations and in the use of this thing called currency. That without our realizing it, produce the conflict, a portion of the conflict that we are talking about. So we were very interested in looking at the causes of conflict rather than community building, both in the corporation, in interpersonal relations, and in money. And by bringing people together with a different kind of money, a different tool, we're finding that they work together to feed each other and others. That's interesting, while this money pulls us apart, and we have to compete for it, right? Because either I have it or you have it, and I can't have it unless I get it from you.
When you've been bringing that up, I mean, you run a nonprofit. That's the big conversation in nonprofits right now, that competing for grant money, that dwindling grant pool. And I was just really, that's something I've given a lot of thought to. I was really compelled by the way that RHD is run. You can explain it more, but what I saw, it's, using government contracts, fulfilling needs that the government can't do, that your nonprofit does. You're aggregating all of this money and then redistributing it out to all of these smaller nonprofits that are fulfilling great needs that maybe were very innovative projects, like you said, that might not get the same the legs that a grant foundation would be able to fund for, but you guys do it for them, and also for-profit businesses. So can you kind of explain a little bit about that, about how that works?
Well, some years ago we decided to increase our spread, and so we started a few for-profit corporations. But the for-profit corporation is, again, to model a different way of being for-profit. And the example being a pharmacy that we started that's now a $6 million operation. It is owned by a nonprofit. And when we make profit on the pharmacy, doing the business that any pharmacy does, that we take that profit and redistribute it to those who are providing health care for the poor who do not have insurance. So you can take any for-profit business model, if you own it, and we own the pharmacy, and start to use it as a tool. If you own the currency, you decide what the rules are, who you pay people, what you pay people to do. We're paying people, I hear just today, in Kensington.
South Kensington.
South Kensington. To do a community cleanup.
Yes. It is part of our Keeping It Local campaign and Keeping It Local Day. And we're partnering with South Kensington Community Partners and the Business District in South Kensington. And we're really excited about this because the community is coming together. They're going to do a cleanup of the Business District on March 23rd. And then 2 Saturdays later, on April 6th, the businesses in that community is going to accept equal dollars from everyone who participated in that cleanup.
So,
another equal dollar.
Because we issue the currency, we decide, our key banker decides. This, by the way, I usually introduce Deneen as my Bernard Burnett, not him. So the banker and staff decide we are going to reward people with equal dollars, and we team up with stores that will accept the equal dollars because they're helping to clean up their own neighborhood. You find me one bank that take profits that they have with the money that they have and use it for that, or to help repackage food to feed people free. It is a shift in how you use a tool, and the nonprofit is demonstrating it in terms of how you use people and work. We're not saying that we're perfect, but we are saying we're going to aim to do things equal. So Deneen's office space and mine are the same. Because we work in the corporate office, she has the same vacation and health plan that I do. If a bonus is given to the employees in the corporate office, it's equal. I get the same that she gets. Now, the salary is different because of the years I've spent there and the salary increases I've gotten. But once a new person joins, they're on equal footing with everyone else. And that attitude towards using a sense of equality, not 100%, I'm not saying it's perfect. We have human conflicts and jealousies. But if the tool is basic, that people know that I don't have a car, and they don't. That I don't have perks, salary. Salary I have a difference of because of the years I've been there. But it's still low compared to executives in other nonprofits. And then I put 1% of my salary into a pool. This is something anyone can do. 1% of my salary goes into a pool. Remember that?
I am a member of the 1% Club.
So we are both putting 1% of our salary after tax, our U.S. salary after tax, into a pool with anyone who wants to join, and we all take the same amount out. So I always say, listen, I don't know how to make everything equal, but I'll put 1% in of the salary with Deneen, and both of us are probably taking less out than we're putting in. I know it's true for me. But
Yes.
do it for a different purpose. Any business can do this. None of these things are unique. We're just demonstrating that you can produce abundance with food, with human labor, and you do it with the same tools. You're using them differently.
We got to thank you for providing that inspiration, and we got to thank you, Deneen, for doing this. And I also say you're much nicer than Ben Bernanke. I haven't met him, but you seem much nicer. Thank you very much, Deneen. Thank you, Ben.